Welcome to Anger Me Productions. And we're still stuck in quarantine. We had a little hiccup this week with me and Steven because we had a couple of layoffs this week from our job and extended vacation for some.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this video. I'm looking at like these small points. I'm like, I got like 2 bruises. Where did that come from? Weird. Everybody missed out. I should have started recording when Michael didn't have had nothing but his skivvies on. Give everybody a show. Let everybody know how sexy Michael is without anything on.
We'd lose all what few viewers we have. They'd all be screaming, "I'm blind! I'm blind!"
No, they would. We'd probably get more viewers. Like, oh, I didn't know it was this kind of show. Oh, here's another thing. This is how messed up Kai is, okay? Kai looked at the video, is like, hey, did you get Jason on the video last week? Or the last couple of weeks? I was like, no, that was Steven. No, it was Kenny. He had you know what Kenny looks like, Michael? How does Steven look like Kenny?
Who's Kenny?
Kenny's my brother-in-law, and he has black hair, no white in it. He's got a little bit of gray in it, but not that bad.
Yeah, I can't merge those two images together any way I try.
Yeah, I mean, other than him having glasses on, that's about it. Kai needs glasses. That's what it needs. But so I guess books. What's a good read for everybody? My favorite book series is always the Rangate series by David Grimmel. It's more or less like alternate time period or alternate dimension of Scotland, and it's a very, very interesting read.
Yeah, well, you know me. I've read a lot of stuff and continue to read. The only problem is my mind doesn't record names and other information. So for me to be able to sit here and tell you, oh, this book I thought was great or that book I thought was great, yeah.
Yeah, Robert E. Howard's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing about writers, though, is Robert E. Howard was flat out crazy. Yep. But another good writer, he writes comic books. He did Swamp Thing, Constantine, From Hell, Watchmen. Nameless others is Alan Moore. Alan Moore is really out there. I'm talking. I actually met him at a con, and we were talking, and he was like, "You do realize that I think he said he was a 6th level wizard of Set." I was like, "Oh, okay." I thought it was funny. I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Thank you for." And he's very. He was like, "No, I'm serious. I'm a wizard of Set."
Who is this now?
Oh, Alan Moore. He wrote The Watchmen. From Hell, that Johnny Depp movie, From Hell. He wrote the comic books. He didn't write the screenplay for those movies. But no, and he's a total anarchist. He doesn't anything that goes to movies and gets a screenplay or whatever. He doesn't take any money for. The artist, on the other hand, they still have creative rights. Like for Watchmen, the artist is like, yeah, Alan Moore didn't take a paycheck. I took a paycheck though. I'll take that money. I was asking if he can get more. Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry I interrupted you on that. What were you talking about?
Well, I mean, I've got 3 favorite authors that are dead. There's Robert E. Howard, H.P. Lovecraft, and Robert Jordan. Those,
Lovecraft.
those are my three favorite authors, and they're dead.
Lovecraft is really good. What's really surprising though is all the Lovecraft stuff you can write a movie about because he left it open for everybody to interpret his stuff, or he left the licensing.
Well, there's actually a movie coming out about one of his stories. It's called The Color Out of Space.
Oh, really?
And yeah, that'll be the second movie of that's been based on his work. The first one was Herbert West Reanimator.
I know about the Reanimators. That was made. I think they're doing a remake of that. But there's not that many. There's a lot of Lovecraft stuff and movies and everything. But
well, he hasn't influenced popular culture.
That's an understatement.
Take the band Metallica. I mean, they've got I think 4 or 5 or more songs based on his work.
Well,
Call of Cthulhu. The Thing That Should Not Be. All Nightmare Long. What else? There's
you
a few others.
A lot of your common gaming. I mean,
yeah.
We'll use Dungeons and Dragons as an example. Think of the amount of stuff that's in that game that came directly from the Lovecraft novels.
Yeah.
Mind Flayers, Cthulhu.
Yeah.
But now there's tons. I'm really surprised. There's a lot of horror movie stuff. I mean, they pick on stuff on Lovecraft stuff, but they don't really pull out a whole bunch of stuff. I really am surprised they don't make a lot of movies with his stuff. Another good book series is Terry Goodkin, the Sword of Truth series.
Yeah.
The only problem I have with his work is every book. I mean, he does it in every book. Like it's sort of a it's a small amount of continuation of the last story, but he describes each and every character in detail the same way in each book.
Yeah.
Which it's not bad, but you have a book that's about that thick. If you take all those descriptions out because you already know it, I mean, I bypass a lot of the stuff in there when he's describing, and you got a book about like a good portion of it that's actually the storyline.
Yeah. There was one book in the series where it focused on a completely new character that it's been over 10 years since I read this book, but the main character is Richard and Kaylin. They factor into the last, I think, 2 or 3 chapters.
Oh,
you're
talking about
that thick.
I know the ones that were nullified against magic. They couldn't see magic, and magic couldn't see them.
No, this is.
They were considered a hole in the world.
Yeah.
That was a good book.
Yeah, I just didn't like how they, how the main characters had no involvement,
Yeah.
Some of the best books I've ever read were set in a setting where the authors were very, very descriptive, because if you really want to draw people in, they have to be able to see what you're imagining.
No, you're absolutely right, but it gets it gets monotonous if you keep on reading the same book series. I know it's for other people that just pick up the book as a one-off. They'll get like book 5 of the whole of a 12-book series, and you get the description of everybody, and it's still described in a very great way. But when you, it's one of those. It's the problem with the people that has started the book series and ended it, and you just read it, was like, oh, he's describing so and so, and you just skim through that stuff. I mean, you have to do it. It can be done, but it's just one of those things. It irks me, but I know why it's being done. Another good series that I read, and I kind of fell off of, was the Anna Blake series.
No, yeah, those are good to a degree, but in my opinion, they reach a point where they turn from a decent story into just sheer smut.
Yeah, which is it's a really good idea of storytelling, because it was actually the first book series that I read. And it probably wasn't like a new thing, but it was the first book series that I read that had, instead of the vampires and the supernatural creatures and the hiding, everything was out in the open, which I love that storyline. Because every time you get a story, Supernatural does it. Every movie or TV series, it's, oh, monsters have to stay hidden and everything. Other than Bright, that Will Smith movie that came on Netflix, which everybody knew everything was real, and
Yeah.
it's like taking the veil off, and everybody can play it off, and it literally makes a little bit better story.
Well, I can say that that's definitely a deviation from what a lot of people see as reality. So, if you're
Yeah,
looking to get away from reality, books that travel into that aspect are a welcome read.
yeah. What was like the Seventh Son series? That was pretty damn good book series. The Seventh Son of a Seventh Son.
Dust. That was the name of the book I was thinking about.
What was that one about?
It's about the world after an apocalypse, and all of the people are living in like this underground tower constructed by the government, and they all have special rules they have to follow. And without trying to completely destroy the storyline, it's about how one of the towers figures out there's a fallacy in the system and the journey thereafter.
Yeah. I always liked the Dark Tower series.
Yeah, but they got kind of well, Stephen King. He goes into too much detail because there's page after page after page of describing the same damn thing. You know. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it started out good, kind of morphed into something kind of weird. The movie of it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah, I like the movie really. Well, it pushed out the character that I really liked, the gunslinger. They did a comic book series of the gunslinger. That was pretty good too. But I don't know, they don't really come out with like a lot of good. Here lately, I've been reading autobiographies, people. Like the last one I read was Matt Best. Thank you for my service. I'm gonna start up Fortitude by Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah, there's a well, if you like books like that, there's a book called About Face. It's by Colonel David Hackworth, and it's really good. He he was in the Army after World War II, served all the way up to Vietnam, and talks about his time in Korea, some of the Vietnam stuff.
Yeah. Was that the same colonel off of We Were Soldiers?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of good biographies or autobiographies too. I also got into the rabbit hole of the historical fiction, like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter,
Yeah.
Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. They're actually good reads. Like the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, that had a lot of good historical stuff, and they weaved it really well with the historical with the fiction, that you could almost believe it was real. And I liked the movie to a point. I understand it was just Tim Burton's interpretation of the book, but the book was it could have played a lot better, especially the ending. The ending of both of them were really weird compared to one to the other. Like in the book, the difference in the two is like the book you had the vampire that helped Abe Lincoln along. In the movie, it was just one vampire. In the book, it was actually a group of people that wanted to stop slavery because they wanted to stop the bad vampires from doing slavery, so they could basically they were feeding them like cattle.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it was just one vampire, and he wanted someone to kill the vampire that killed his family. He was a vampire hunter first, and he got turned, and vampires can't kill other vampires, but in the book, yeah, vampires can kill other vampires. It was just the storyline. They took a lot of liberties in it, and they just used some of the stuff in there, but it was very interesting. And the book, most of the time, I have to agree that the book sometimes is way better than the movie because they can put a lot of stuff in the movies than they can put a lot more stuff in books because you're dealing with people's imagination. You're not dealing with like special effects crew and whatnot.
Yeah. There's one of my favorite authors. He writes alternate history. It's Harry Turtledove.
What's that one about?
Oh hell, he has a bunch of books. The first book of his I ever read was let's see here. It's called The Guns of the South. It's some time travelers from 2014 in South Africa travel back to 1864 and give General Lee and the Army of the Confederacy AK-47s.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. I might actually like something like that.
He has How Few Remain. That's North versus South. The Great War trilogy. The American Empire, trilogy, and those two, series of books are about World War I and World War II, but they're North versus South, and the South wins World War I, loses World War II, and it kind of took a turn I didn't like, how in the South did the same thing that to the blacks that the Nazis did to the Jews. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it had
not a lot of people like genocide.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, one of the books I've really enjoyed was Astrophysics for People in a Hurry.
Oh yeah, the one from
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Tyson, yeah.
Yeah, I love it where he goes, if you asked a farmer how to make dairy cows more productive, they would give you lots of helpful advice on feeding and so forth. If you asked an astrophysicist how to make them more productive, they'd say make them spherical.
uh,
But he also has Turtle Dove. It's it's called the Settling Accounts Tetralogy. It's a 4-part series. But he has a bunch of books out. But he's a pretty good author. He'll take real historical figures and put them in different scenarios.
Yeah, that was the whole reason why I started reading books like that, because it was really just something new. It's very hard nowadays to get something new out there that not a lot of people read. I was reading this one series. It was about it was more or less about werewolves and vampires and well, no, it was just about werewolves. It was just a shapeshifter community. I read the first one and I couldn't get past that. I can't even remember what the book was. It was that dull. But another good series is Drizzt series from Forgotten Realms.
Yeah. I'll tell you a series I love. It's by it's called the Dresden Chronicles.
Yeah. They had a small TV series for a while there.
No, it's called the Dresden Files by
Yeah, they have a series.
By Jim Butcher.
Yeah. They had a TV series for a while there.
Yeah, the first TV series was not very good. But
well, that got me into the books, and it started to get me into the comics too, because they make comics about it too.
But the TV series was very loosely based on the books, and it actually got canceled because of the writers' strike way back when. But Jim Butcher is in talks to get a new series started where he has a lot more control.
Oh, they're actually going to do a new series?
They're in talks. Every convention that he goes to, there's 2 or 3 people to ask him, and he says we're in talks. So
yeah, a lot of especially right now, all they're doing is talks on anything movie related or anything because of the virus.
Yeah, but there's another author I like is Diana Gabaldon. She has the Outlander series out. It's
is
like
that
8 or 9 books so far.
Is that the one where it's like a time travel type thing?
Yeah, it's an English nurse. It's right after World War II. Her and her husband go up to Scotland, and she goes to some stones called Craig Madoon. She touches one of them, and she's transported back to 1743 or Scotland, right before the rising of the second Jacobite rising. She and it goes from 1945, and she's just 1743 until 1746, and she's transported back to 1948. Her and her husband moved to America, to Boston. There's a 20-year jump, and she has a daughter by this Highlander that she got married to. Her husband in the 20th century dies, Frank, and she goes back to Scotland, and it's a long story. I mean, the paperback books are about that thick, and there's a TV show on Stars called Outlander, right? And each series or each season, I guess, is about one book, and they're 8 to 10 hours long. So yeah.
Another good book series that another good book series that well, it's not really it's kind of a series. It's like 2 or 3. Is American Gods.
Yeah, I kind of want to check that out.
It's very interesting.
I'm about to move.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. I figured you have family because I can hear them in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my mother and niece.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this wind's not helping out anything with my connection.
See, there's a let's see here, where is it at? There's another series of books that I read. It's called the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan.
Yeah, I tried to start that. I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, this is just a few of them up there.
Oh, cool.
But here's the last one. Look how thick that.
Yeah.
And actually, this was written by Brandon Sanderson, because Robert Jordan died before he was done, but he left an outline. But another series of books that I really like, well, and it is all right, but I only got them because of a TV show. Let's see here. Damn it, that's not it. Find the first book, but well, the book is called, or the series is called, A Discovery of Witches. There's a TV show.
I think that just came out.
Yeah, it came out late last year, and it was basically over the first book, but they glossed over a lot of the story. Because I actually watched the TV show, then read the books. They left out so damn much. It's unreal.
Oh, really?
But if you like Robert E. Howard, there you go. Brand Blackmore.
Trying to come in a frame.
Oh, hang on. There we go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Brand Blackmore. What else?
Another series that I liked was Waylander. Yeah, Solomon Kane I really liked too.
And one of my personal favorites, Cormac McCart. He's an Irishman. But oh, there it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Deborah Hart. Yeah. So it's a 3-book series. It's all right. It's decent, I guess. But obviously, there's a Song of Ice and Fire by
Yeah.
George Martin, but he hasn't really done much with it. Let's see here. Oh, here's another good book. Hang on. Okay, yeah. It's by Gail Z. Martin. It's called The Summoner Chronicles, or it's book 1 of the Chronicles of the Necromancer. This is a
Ooh.
really good series.
That does look good.
It's, I think, 3 or 4 part. Yeah, it's 4 part. And the sequel, same author, is called The Sworn, and it's the Fallen King cycle.
Hmm.
It has the same characters, just a little while later. It's really good.
I like how that she just made like the title just one word.
Yeah. Then there's this one, Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh yeah.
This is a classic.
Hell yeah. I love that story.
I've been sitting here trying to think of names of all of the books that I've read, and they're all jumbled together. But I managed to pull one out here and there, like Into the Fire.
Yeah.
Mm.
That was a good one. It was set in an Irish setting. Kind
Here's
of
that Terry Goodkind.
Yeah. Where's his first rule? I just love the actual Wizards first rule, because if you actually look at the Wizards rules in those series, it actually makes out a good point.
Yeah.
Like the Wizards first rule is people are stupid. Either people
Yeah.
believe in a lie. Okay, hold on. People will believe in a lie if they fear the truth, or they'll believe in a lie if they fear it might be true.
Yeah.
Which is, it's really true on that one. That if you look at like the media now, they're
all
more
you
or
have to
less
do is look around.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I always
Watch
have
TV.
people. I'll have people's like, can you believe they're doing this? Can you believe they're doing this? It's like, are they really doing that, or is someone just telling you they're doing that and you believe them?
Okay, here's another book. It's book 1, and it's got 3 video games based off of it.
The Witcher.
The Witcher.
Yeah.
Nice.
Andrzej Sapkowski.
Yeah.
That's
That
really good book.
Did you watch the TV series?
No, not yet. I've actually been waiting for the 2nd season to come out in order to justify the cost of Netflix.
Actually, there's an actual lot of content, original content that's actually really good. Not to boast, Netflix not paying us, but it's like the book Altered Carbon. That's a really good series. The Protector. That's a decent series.
You know, if they had a book set on Altered Carbon, I would probably look it up to read it.
It was good. Pretty much what they do pretty much is they on Netflix, instead of making a dramatic thing where it's 25 episodes, they just go with the book series. And well, The Witcher, they kind of flipped it on it a little bit, but Altered Carbon, they pretty much, each book is the episode. So
yeah,
which was great.
There's but if you like the fantasy series, the books like Solomon Kane, Cole, check out the original Warhammer.
Yeah, there was some
First one.
actually. Yeah, I didn't read that one yet.
Yeah,
Well,
it's pretty. Yeah,
I read
but
some of the
but this is
Knights of the
but this
Gathering.
is one of my favorite authors that's actually still breathing. Because yeah, but
Are you trying to
see,
say that an author is like a painter? Yeah,
but,
they're not good till they're dead.
well, no, not really, but I've got a I've got a lot of Warhammer 40K, original Warhammer, and Horus Heresy books. But,
Yeah, the books are just as about as thick and knowledgeable as the actual gaming books.
yeah, you ain't kidding. But like like this one, this is a Horus Heresy book
Mm-hmm.
right here. It's a quality paperback. See, it's that
Yeah.
thick. Yeah. But there's the last time I checked, in just the Horus Heresy series,
Mm-hmm.
this one's a few years old. It's got 43 books, but there's at least 50 more. Because this one was written in this 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 edition published in Great Britain in 2017, so it's 3 years old. So yeah, and there's multiple authors, but it's
Yeah.
the same overarching story.
That's another thing that I like to deep down into a lot of stuff is the fan fiction stuff. Because you'll have a fan that will actually make a storyline or change up a lot of stuff on the story. Some of them it's kind of a pick and choose type thing. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them is like, why were we even thinking about that?
I like the ones that pick up a story that died for one reason or another. Like the author couldn't continue it any further, and they pick it up and they continue to carry it, even though not trying to change the premise of the story, but they try to complete it even though it was never finished.
Yeah.
Those are the fan fictions I like.
Now, the other book stuff that I found out about it and I didn't even I looked at the book, I read the synopsis on it and I was like, no, not for me. And that's saying a lot. I read some really weird stuff. But like I read Anne Rice's Taming Sleeping Beauty, the whole series. And that was
That
really that was far gone.
that doesn't sound like a book I would read.
Uh, pretty much smut.
Yep, not a book I would read.
It's pretty much. I mean, the first part of the book, instead of the kiss to wake up Sleeping Beauty, he ends up basically day raping her.
Damn.
Yeah. No, it was this. It was this. It's the genre is called uh shock books. There's
Yeah.
the whole book series is supposed to make a whole make you just want to put the book down. That's the whole idea of reading these books. The book series that someone showed me, it was basically Santa Claus having an affair with the Tooth Fairy, and that it just went really off the rails after that.
That's already off the rails.
No, it got worse. I can't even describe it because I don't want our YouTube channel to get cut. That's how bad.
Here's another book series. It's by Mike Lee.
Mm-hmm.
It's The Time of Legends. It's kind of like a prequel setting up for the Warhammer universe.
Mm-hmm.
That was book one. That was over in Nagash. He was the world's first necromancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a big baddie. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, crap around here. Let's see. All right. This one, it's by Graham McNeil called Heldenhammer. This is for the Empire of Sigmar Heldenhammer. And it kind of goes through his history. Let's see. Yeah, there's here's that Nagash one. Here's the last one of the series.
Mm.
The sad thing is he's trifling through his book collection and he's pulling out all of these interesting books. And I guarantee that if I were to reach just a few feet away from me in any direction and start pulling out my books, it would be boring stuff like How to Math and How to Linux.
Yeah, you read the intelligent stuff.
You
read those learned books.
Here's another. This is an omnibus called Black Hearts. This is a really good series. It's about some bad guys, or it's kind of like the medieval version of Suicide Squad.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, yeah, and but this is probably one of my favorite series of books right here. Bruno the Bat. And this is kind of like the medieval version of a Clint Eastwood bounty hunter movie. The guy has very loose morals, and he'll do whatever it takes to get paid.
Mm. Well, it was like the Waylanders series was basically bounty hunter, mercenary hire type deal, and he had this crossbow that had an eagle, but it was a double crossbow that had a bolt on the top and a bolt on the bottom, so you could shoot it twice.
Yeah.
And he was more or less an assassin, and he had like chainmail that was blackened, and it was made so it couldn't be heard, and he was just an all around way badass, Billy badass. Or yeah, I messed that one up big time. For like medieval times.
But this is a really good book right here. It's by C.L. Werner. It's called The Blood God.
Mm.
It's a Warhammer fantasy book.
I was to say the title of that one just.
He's frozen.
Yeah. I think
Me?
yeah, Michael's internet might be down a little bit too.
Yeah.
No.
What else I got? Yeah. Oh, yeah. But if you're gonna read the Warhammer series, stay away from the end times. They suck. It's a series of book. It's a series of books where the old Warhammer world blows up.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a reset button for it.
Well, Terry Goodkin had a new type of series that I tried to get into. I couldn't get into, but it was basically it was the aftermath. It was like modern times, and the descendant of Richard had like a baking job or something. And he was just discovering how magic works and everything.
So here's a pretty good book. It's The Age of Conan. This is book one. Wait, no, book 3. There it is. It's by Stephen York.
Mm.
It's 3-part. Takes place in Stygia. All right.
Yeah.
And let's see. 3, 2, 1. All right. Sold. It's pretty good. It takes place in Aquilonia.
Mm.
And let's see. We got the Legend of Kern, Kern. Blood of Wolves by Lauren L. Coleman. Takes place in Samaria mainly. But those are characters that are in the same time frame as Conan, but they're different characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And one I've just started to get into. It's this one.
The blade itself.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's another book series I wanted to try out. Let me try to find him. He was on a couple of webs. Jack Carr, I think it is.
Yeah, I've got a fair few number of books. But the thing of it is, I don't read near as much as I used to. I don't know why.
You got other things to keep yourself occupied?
Not really. I don't really watch all that much TV. Mainly because of the schedule that I work.
Work counts as something else to keep you occupied.
Well, yeah, but when I was reading a lot, I was farming, and that's not really a set schedule. And there would be days when it would rain for 2 or 3 days straight. And I got tired of watching YouTube, so I just read.
Yeah.
But,
okay. Yeah. The book series is oh, hold on. Dang it. Is by author Jack Carr. He's a retired Navy SEAL. I'm gonna get a picture of it. This is his. This is the.
Books
Yeah.
that have been shut or been non-canonized. They're part of the Star Wars.
It's
Wars
called
Legends.
Legacy now.
And
Yeah,
that's where
Legacy.
the episodes 7, 8, and 9 got a lot of their ideas from. You're all still there?
I'm still. I had a message from somebody. But no, the terminal list is about it's about a Navy SEAL that gets helps out the government and gets the government to be in his debt type stuff. But it's supposed to be an interesting read, and I'm gonna try to read it. I just keep on forgetting about it.
I tell you, another good author I like is Tom Clancy. He wrote a book that had that spawned a bunch of video games called Rainbow Six. The book was pretty good, and he's got The Hunt for Red October.
Oh,
But
the Tom Clancy stuff.
yeah, but in the book version of The Hunt for Red October, Jack Ryan disappears for like half the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and kind of like with Tolkien's Hobbit, Gandalf, he's given a quarter or a third of the book. But one of the things I liked about the trilogy of movies, kind of explain where the hell he went, you know.
I was always wondering that. That's you're gonna have to text me the book series of that, because I always wondered. I was like, why does Gandalf keep on walking off on then at the last possible moment comes in?
Well, in the book The Hobbit, there's no explanation. He leaves them at Bjorn's house, and he shows up again at the Battle of the Five Armies. There's a lot of things happen between them. But in the movies, he looks into the castle, Goldger, with what's it, right against the brown.
I think I'm contagious.
But that's not in the books.
Contagious? How are you contagious?
Well, he's babbling and everything. I think my babbling is contagious. I very well could be, you know, way everything is nowadays. Everybody's contagious about something. Well, I guess we can end it on that note. We came out with a lot of good book series that people might want to look through while they're on their quarantine time. But that totally threw me off. But anyways, no, I had a thing pop up. Someone's trying to message me, but hopefully it gives a lot of ideas. And if you can write down in the comments some good books that come out or authors, just comment below, and you can reach us on Facebook, Instagram. You can comment on our page too on Facebook. But I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Michael Moffitt.
I'm Stephen Baggs.
And this is Angry Me Production. Thank you for watching.